home of the most famous monument ever, the Eiffel Tower, the most famous painting ever, I don't know why, the Mona Lisa. 89 million people come to France every year just to visit. It's the most visited country in the world. There's so many reasons to fall in love with France, but I'm gonna give you the 5 things that I fell in love with since moving here. So my name is Willis Maki Jr. I'm a professional basketball player from the Bahamas. So I've lived in the Bahamas. Of course, I've lived in the United States. I've lived in Spain, and now I'm currently living in France. There's so many things that I love about living in France that I want to share with you guys in this video. So without further ado, first thing that we're going to talk about is the beauty of France. Every country that you will visit, every country that you will go to has something unique about it. But for me, what stands out the most in France is the diversity of beauty here. Like, of course, when we see France on TV, all we see is the Eiffel Tower, we see Paris, we see the nice fine dining, we see all of that. That's all I knew before coming to France as well, until I really got to experience different parts of France. I learned so much about the chateaus and all of the different castles and different small little villages that they have in France. Some of the most beautiful places I personally ever visited in my life. And honestly, I've grown an appreciation for those places a little bit more than the bigger cities because of the rich history that these cities possess. You can be in Paris today, experiencing the big city life, all the crazy monuments, the big cathedrals, or you could go to a village, all these places that kind of have these Game of Thrones type of feel. This is the best way to explain it. So the second thing we're going to talk about is the culture of France. They're very traditional people. When you go into the villages, into the smaller areas, they have like different traditions and things that they have kept throughout their history and things that they want their kids to even learn about. And I think it's really cool, like the farmers markets, you will get, of course, all the farmers coming into the cities to sell their product. For me, I find that interesting because you get to really see how people live their lives in different parts of a country. And of course, one big part of their culture too, it's a stereotype of French people can be aggressive and they like to riot and do different things like this. Honestly, I think it's better than sitting still and letting people run over you. I think because of their history and what they may have gone throughout history, that they are just not people that's gonna let anything happen to them without them having some type of pushback. And I think that's how it should be because that's important. The third thing that we're gonna talk about is we're gonna go to the food portion, pastries. Listen, you've not tasted real pastries until you've had it from a French bakery, okay? I promise you, it's not hype, it's the truth. When you go into these bakeries, you have so much variety of things that you can get, sweet, savory, the croissants, the pain au chocolat, everything in the bakery is pretty good. For me, I'm not a big sweet guy, so I usually choose the savory stuff, but it's just so much to choose from. And of course, the French baguettes, they are the top of the line. It won't get any better than that. You will not be disappointed, I promise. And like I said, every bakery is different. Some bakeries might have a little saltier taste, some bakeries might be a little bit sweeter with their baguettes, but for the most part, they are amazing. And on top of that, they're usually not very expensive. So for a quick breakfast before I go to the arena, I usually will get a croissant, maybe a coffee, maybe a pain au raisin, which is like raisin bread, kind of like a Danish, I guess. I will get that before going and it'll be pretty cheap. So it's always a good option. The next thing that we're gonna talk about, keeping it along with food, I guess, is the wine. I was never much of a wine person. I would be honest, I would only drink wine with a meal and different things like that. And I still do that if the meal requires it almost. But of course, France is known for wine. French people consume more wine than anywhere else in the world. Wine is a big part of the culture. They have different wines for different foods. Like you should drink white wine after your meals, but with your red meat, you should drink red wine. That you should drink with cheese, you should drink red wine. There's a bunch of rules that they have that I personally don't know, and I might have just messed them up right there. So if you're French, don't kill me in the comments, please. Thanks. You get the point. There's so many rules and of course, so many ways that they enjoy wine here. And like I said, it's a really big part of their culture. It's everywhere. I've done wine tastings. I've been to wine museums. It is definitely something that you have to do while you're here. It's not hard to try wines here. You could go in certain supermarkets and they will allow you to try wines like before you buy it. So it's like I said, it's a big part of their culture here. That tells you how important it is in their culture. And the last and the final thing that I'm going to speak about is the lifestyle of French people. I think French people are very much on the go people. They ride bikes, They're always walking. They are on the move. They're also very free-spirited people and also very environmentally friendly. It's not something that's, I feel, forced on people. It's just kind of just what they do here. I think it's something other countries could probably learn from as well. They're free-spirited people when you get to know them. I think French people are a bit territorial when it comes to their friends and the people that they allow into their lives, in my opinion. I think French people sometimes put up a wall, you know, until you actually get to know them. And then when you know them, you realize that they're actually very nice. And for me, sometimes I can't get past the wall sometimes because I don't ever know what people are thinking or what's going on, you know. From my experience, anytime that I've gotten to know a French person, really genuine people, they are very caring. You know, when you go to restaurants and things like this, it's not rare to see that one person would just say, oh, I'll just cover everybody, or, oh, I got you this time, no worries. Like without even saying, like, it's not even a question. Looking out for one another is a part of who they are. And I think that's extremely important, just as human beings, you know? And of course, we cannot talk about the lifestyle without talking about the healthcare system. I'm a French resident, so I have my Vital card, which is like the card, yeah, basically a social security card. This is a get out of jail free ticket. You go to the doctors, you insert it like a credit card, and they do your entire doctor visit with the card in. When you're done with your doctor visit, you take the card out and you walk out the door and you don't get billed. So in terms of lifestyle of French people, it's something that I think a lot of countries can learn from. Of course, no country is perfect, but it's the small things that I do that I think that sets them apart and has them, you know, in one of the top countries in the world. So yes, those are the 5 things that I personally fell in love with living in France. And if you're a person that may be moving to France or maybe considering it, I would say do it. It's not a big culture shock in terms of the lifestyle. However, of course, the language barrier is a thing. So if you are coming here, people speak English, but depending on where you go, some people may not speak a lot of English. So obviously keep that in your mind. So touching up on your French will not hurt. But overall, this is an amazing country. I'm endorsing coming to France because I think everybody has to see it at least one time in their life. So thank you guys so much for coming to the channel. Once again, my name is Willis Mackey Jr. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Let's start a conversation about French things. Hey, of course, turn on the notification bell so you know anytime that I post videos. And with that being said, I love y'all. Till the next video. Peace.